Hello again. I'm back. It's been a while, but I've been working on some file folders, task boxes, and just kind of wanted to do another video and revisit this, not only because I want to share information out there with people, even though I don't really have too many people watching my videos, but also because I don't want to forget some of the kind of cool things I think that I'm doing. But these are activities that teachers or parents can do, or even school psychologists like myself, that I find that some of this is good even just for my assessments, especially for young children, or especially those children who do not work independently well. And so it helps me to give some suggestions for teachers and parents on some activities that students can use to increase their independent work time. So just as a quick review, task boxes or task folders are supposed to be activities, things that are activities that the student has mastered, things that the student can do, but what we're trying to do is extend their independent work time. So I'm in the middle right now of a couple of evaluations as well as consultations. And so for students who already, for instance, have an IEP, I'll look at their IEP, I'll look at what their current goals are, and I try to figure out what are the building blocks to those IEP goals. What skills should they have mastered that lends itself to the idea that those goals are actually realistic, ambitious but reasonable goals, versus something, pie out of the sky kind of thing. And then during my evaluation, I present some different activities to the student, and then I can kind of, go back or forth as I need to see what the student really is able to do, so that then I can consult with the teacher or parent about what kinds of activities the student might be able to do for, say, like a workstation, during independent work. So I wanted to just share some of the things that I've put together very recently, and some of the resources that I found. So one thing that I found, well, and I should also say, if you Google task boxes, file folders, any of that kind of stuff, you're gonna find hundreds, if not thousands, of resources, including YouTube videos. I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again, a lot of materials that you might find out there are not free. I tend to go where the free is. And so one of the activities I found at filefolder.com, and this is a shape sort, and I just felt like, rather than make suggestions to teachers in particular, oh, why don't you just make a file folder for that? I feel like people need to see an example. It makes, it just makes things more concrete, more like, oh, okay. And it gives you an opportunity then to think ahead and come up with your own ideas and think, oh, you know what? If I change that up a little bit, revise it, this would be good for this student. So anyway, this is called Shape Sort. And again, I got this from filefolderfun.com. Now what I did was I got a file folder, and I laminated it. And actually, before I laminated it, I put these pieces on. So you can see it just says square, circle, triangle, rectangle. Then I laminated it, and of course that was on there too. Laminated it, and then put all these Velcro pieces on, and then on the back is a plastic bag that I glued on here, and this is part of that package. By the way, this was free, yay! I laminated these pictures. So for instance, rectangle, and the student would stick that on somewhere on the rectangle area. But these are all laminated as well. I don't think you would have to laminate it if you didn't have access to it. But this is something, so for instance, today, I actually had a chance to work with a second grade girl on the autism spectrum with this. And again, I'm looking for things that she can do on her own. And anyway, so I kind of went in with a little bit of assumption that, oh, she probably could do this. Maybe it's too easy. I don't remember why I had that notion in my head, but she was not able to do this. She was able to name the 4 shapes, but she was not able to use these and put them in the right place, not without help. So what that told me today is this particular activity is too hard for her right now as far as for an independent workstation activity. So I'm going to go back and present to her something else where we're going to look at shapes a little differently, where instead of a file folder, we're going to do a task box with actual objects, and probably go back to just looking at straight matching. This was, you know, more of the sort. So I want to back up and do that. Another file folder I made is Robot Lab. This is matching upper and lowercase letters. This came from Katybee Scraps. Anyway, it's called Robot Lab, and if you Google it, you'll find it. But it's really cute too. So like I said, how I made it was I just laminated the folder, but before I laminated the folder, I did put these 2 backgrounds on. And then after it was laminated, I went back and I put these pieces of Velcro on. And then each of these uppercase letters has Velcro on the back. Okay, so that's pretty self-explanatory. And then there's some extra cards, and you can keep the pieces back here, but it just seemed like this was gonna be easier for me to work with. Okay, another thing that I did is something called patterning cards. And I got some of these materials from MontessoriForEveryone.com. Some of it I just hand wrote, but anyway. So this is for patterning. And what it starts out with is just having the student do a couple of items that are just matching. And then there's actual patterns, you know, check mark, box, check mark, square. Then these are the pictures where it starts to be from Montessori for Everyone. So these are AB patterns. And then this is an ABC pattern. And now down here, excuse me. Down here, the student has to figure out 2 different pictures, but the one that was for this one, I ended up putting the 2 pictures together. Anyway, this was more like for me, like an experimental activity so that I can see different things as an assessor. And again, on the back, I have glued all the little things that need to be Velcroed on here. Oh yeah. Another thing I do is I also sometimes, as a task box activity, is I'll get a picture, whether it's a picture I take or somebody gives me or one from the internet, and I mount it, laminate it, and then mount it by gluing it on cardboard, and then using you know, paper cutter at the school, I can cut it up into however many pieces I want. And I also have let's say the answer sheet, what the whole picture is supposed to look like. And so that varies. Like sometimes I have a winter, I don't know if I'll show it. I have a little winter picture, and it's split into 3 parts. I have like a fall picture. I have that split into 7 parts. So it just kind of depends. But I did present this puzzle to a little girl today as well. And I kind of assumed that the student could do it. She was not able to do it on her own. And It was also helpful to see that when she would get two pieces together, she would accidentally move them around. So what that tells me is I need to have something for her where the material is stabilized. So maybe I need to get a board and have specific spots marked for the pieces and have them with Velcroed down so that they don't move around so much on her. So this is numbers 1 to 10. And I got basically the materials. I'll just show you real quick. These are, you know, just little number cards, and they also have the words. So those pieces came from Unique Teaching Resources. So what I did, again, just kind of Velcroed a file folder. Again, the pieces are glued on the back here in a plastic bag. And what I did here is I actually kept it blank, but I have Velcro in the different spots. And so what I have here for work options, theoretically, a student can use this activity in different ways depending on the student and the need that the student has. So these things could be sorted, number versus word. They can just be sequenced, put the numbers in order, or depending, again, if the student's a little older, maybe they can match the word to the number. So that has a lot of options. Okay, so now that I have my dog quiet, at least for now, it gave me an opportunity to switch thoughts and let me talk about some of the more like what I would call task boxes now. So these are activities that will eventually go in some kind of box as opposed to being on a file folder. These tend to be, they're still visual, but they tend to be also more tactile. There's more different activity, motor skills and stuff like that. So a quick thing I made, counting objects to 5. All I did, pretty obvious, what I did, and then I have these little foam squares, and the student is just going to, well, hopefully, you know, this will be laying on the table, of course. But anyway, this is for, you know, just seeing if they get that one-to-one correspondence and with multiple objects. And it will give me an idea when I'm doing assessments with students to get an idea of, you know, this is a skill that they have, especially if they have an IEP goal, for instance, for addition. I want to make sure that they have that correspondence. Kind of similar to that, I also have this bag that I did numbers to 20, and because I have a student that has an IEP goal about adding sums to 20. So all I did was I got a piece of plastic. I think this came from like a pillowcase, maybe a sheet set or something. I don't know. But anyway, it's just a big piece of plastic. And I wrote the numbers 1 to 20 on it. And these are just balls of yellow paper. I know, it kind of looks like popcorn or something. And so the idea will be to see if, and again, this is for, you know, obviously a little bit of an older student, not a kindergartner or anything, but to see if the student can put that many objects, can count them out and put them in the correct area. I mentioned a little bit earlier about the shape sort, and the student that I worked with today had some trouble with that. So another thing I did was I made a 5-color sort. The container I'm using right now is, you know, obviously a coffee container. I have different shapes, objects, like that would be a circle. We have a brown triangle. Again, piece of yellow paper, another piece of brown paper, but it looks a little different. A picture of a teddy bear, picture of basketball. Again, some more foam squares. I have in here just a bunch of different pictures. They have different colors and whatever. And then what I did is I took some little cups that I had. I want to say these are from like parfait cups, maybe from Chick-fil-A. So I mean, you could use yogurt cups. There's all kinds of things. But what I did then, obviously, is I just put on each cup, you know, color that we're looking at with a little example. And then the student is going to, I'm going to see if the student then can put, obviously, the object or picture in that correct area. So we'll see how that goes when I use that. All right, another quick one that I did. This is a animal and vehicle sort. And this was like a salad container. And so it's for animals and vehicles. I have that there. I used some tape so that there's no sharp edges on the cutouts. And honestly, I forget where I got these pictures from. I have it somewhere though. Anyway, these are not only pictures of, like this is transportation, so pictures and words. And then there's like, you know, the animals. And then the idea would be that the student would sort them, you know. And again, depending on the need and the skill of the student, maybe we would just do the pictures, or maybe we would just do the words, or we would do both. Or maybe this isn't the right kind of task for the student, and maybe we could do some kind of matching activity. One of the more basic things is usually just like a simple, what's called a put-in task. And so this was a strawberry container put together, and it's just called a circle drop-in. And I have a bunch of cutouts from like paper towel rolls. And all the student would do in this case is put them in one at a time. A quick thing, I have small and big size sort. This has to do with balls, and we have the small and we have the large. And I have on the option, you know, that we can, these things can be used, these pictures can be used to match, they can be used for patterns, so that's another thing. Almost done here. Then I have, this is another put-in activity with an egg carton. And so it says pipe cleaner put in, turn over, put the pipe cleaner in a slot, option, sort, or copy a pattern. So I just have cutouts of pipe cleaners. Okay. Oh, and obviously the idea is to stick them in there, okay? Okay, and then the last thing I'm gonna go over right now real quick, this is another just kind of box I had kept. And what I did is I divided it into 4 squares, and I've set it up for seasons, but it can be used for other things. I got these printables from Montessori for Everyone. So let me just show you real quick here. So again, the box is set up in 4 parts, and I have it set up, you know, winter, spring, summer, and fall. And they have cards. Now I have laminated these cards, right? And on the back, I put a little clue as to what, W for winter, what the correct answers are. And so it's, you know, just a sorting activity. And the 4 square box can be used with other things, you know, maybe really anything, transportation, different kinds of animals. So that was kind of a neat and easy thing to do. So, but these are very useful. They're going to be useful for me to help make suggestions for teachers in particular, especially for special needs children who are in the regular classroom a lot of the day. And if there's a time that there's independent work time that, you know, they might need to fit in some activities that the student could do on their own, especially for those students that we're trying to increase their ability to sit and do work. And part of that is learning how to work from left to right, getting a sense of accomplishment and feeling like you finished something. Because a lot of students, you know, at different times of their life, you know, feel like, you know, you don't, I mean, even as adults, sometimes we feel like we never really accomplish something in a day. And so we all know that when you do accomplish something or reach a goal, there's a sense of satisfaction. So this is really a way to help students get that sense of accomplishment. Okay, so which really helps with self-esteem and self-confidence and makes you more likely to try something new, right? So, all right, I think that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. And hey, please tell your teacher friends that they might want to check out some of these videos and certainly Google and learn more from others as well. Thank you.